everyone, today I wanted to do a tag video. I haven't been reading very much in the last week, but I did read what I feel is a lot in the first 2.5, 3 weeks of the month. And I really wanted to make a video because I haven't made one in a while, and I was thinking about making a video about some odd book habits that I think I might have. Then I realized that there is in fact a reading habits tag, so I figured that I'd just join in and do that tag. So there are 11 questions about reading habits that I'm going to be answering, and I'm just going to get right to it. I had to get up to get my little notebook where I wrote down the questions. So the first question is, do you have a certain place at home for reading? I don't have a particular reading spot preference. I'll pretty much read anywhere. I did set up a little reading area of my bedroom. It's got a chair and a short bookshelf next to it and a little table, and it was really cute, but I am really disorganized and the table just got cluttered, and I'm between apartments right now, so I'll just read anywhere. I also read outside, like on trains and buses. I really don't need to have a certain mood set or anything like that. The second question is, bookmark or random piece of paper? Bookmarks are great. I really like bookmarks, but I never keep track of them, so it's typically a receipt or a gum wrapper. And sometimes if I have no sheet of paper and I'm on a bus reading, I'll just slip my phone between the book and between the pages of the book and just slip it in my bag. So yeah, so it's pretty random for me. If I'm reading a hardcover book and I didn't take the dust jacket off, then I'll use the little flaps. Yeah, they kind of get bent after a certain point, so I'll only do that in the beginning or towards the very end of the book. If not, I'll just slip something in there. The third question is, can you just stop reading, or do you have to stop after a chapter / certain amount of pages? This one's kind of hard because since I read on public transportation, sometimes I just have to stop when I have to get off the bus or the train. So sometimes I'll just close the book before my stop. And I'll just have to pick up where I left off or try to remember. But yeah, I like to finish on a chapter. So if before bed, if I'm reading before I go to sleep and I can control, when I stop reading, then I will stop at the chapter. But if I'm on a bus or a train, then I don't really. So I don't really have to stop at a chapter, but I like to. The fourth question is, do you eat or drink while reading? And the answer to that is yes and no. I used to read while I was eating lunch in school, while I was eating dinner with my family. I would just read as long as I possibly could. But now I don't really do that so much. If the book is really good and I don't want to put it down, then yes, I will bring it with me to my dinner table. I'm not really worried about spills or anything like that. I'm really not. I've never really spilled anything on a book before. Although one time I did put a drink and a book in my bag, and the book, it just smelled like awful orange juice because that was what was inside the bottle. It was really gross. I have this book that's all wavy and stuff on the inside, and I'm really sad about it. The fifth question is multitasking. Do you listen to music or watch TV while reading? I can listen to music while I read, but I often just wind up ignoring the music while I'm reading, and it's just kind of in the background. And yeah, I just tune out. I just tune out whatever's in the background. So if someone's watching TV in the living room and I'm reading in the living room, that doesn't really bother me. That I don't actively read and watch TV at the same exact time. I mean, I guess if you're watching the news, I guess I could watch the news and read at the same time. In a way, my attention would just have to be divided. But if I'm watching a TV show, that just sounds like one storyline while I'm reading another storyline, and that doesn't sound like it would really go well in my brain. So yeah, so I've never read while watching TV. Question number 6 is, one book at a time or several at once? I used to read multiple books at a time, and now I don't really do that, and that's only because typically I'm in the mood for one or the other. To carry around 3 books in my bag and just pick up whatever I wanted to read, it doesn't really work very well for me anymore. I mean, I just feel like one is going to win out over the other, and I'll just start dedicating my time to one of them. Number 7, reading at home or everywhere? I will read anywhere. As I've already said, I read on the train and the bus, so I will read anywhere. It doesn't really matter. Online, at the post office, waiting for the doctor at the doctor's office. All of those places I will read at. I'm actually really good at blocking out outside influences. So yeah. Question number 8, reading out loud or silently in your head? I read silently in my head. I've never read out loud unless like I had to for class, and I really, really hate it. I'm not good at reading out loud at all. I slur the words, my eyes are somewhere down the page, and my mouth is still like reading something or saying whatever I read at the top of the page, and it becomes a whole big mess. I start stuttering. I hate reading out loud to people. When I was in school, if we had to read a book that had difficult dialogue in it, and by difficult dialogue it means me like Romeo and Juliet or something like that, or outdated language, or a book that's written with accents in it, and something that I will read out loud so that I can sound out the words and know what they're saying. Because sometimes you just have to say it out loud to comprehend. Sometimes just reading it in your head when it's something that is language that you're not used to, is something that you're not really going to understand. So I will read it out loud in that case. But if it's just like a regular book, no, I don't. Number 9, do you read ahead or even skip pages? It's kind of an odd one for me because, okay, so if I'm reading a book that has an uncomfortable part in it, I'm the kind of person that when something awkward happens on a screen or stage or in a book, I immediately cringe. I get embarrassed for characters. I'm very, very sympathetic or empathetic, and I can feel what they might be feeling. Even if it's not a well-written story and it's just the circumstance that the author has put this character in, I will still, I think, probably overly sympathize with them, and I will get embarrassed and stuff. So sometimes what I'll do, and I don't do this much anymore, I kind of force myself to like get through it. I'll kind of like skip a page or two ahead like after that part and then read a couple of pages past it, and then I'll go back and read it. I guess I just want to know that it all turns out okay, even though I know it is. I don't know why I do that. Everyone's always laughing at me because if there's like an uncomfortable part of the movie, I will hide behind my hands. I won't want to watch it. And I won't watch it until like the third or fourth time that I've seen like the movie or the TV episode or something. Yeah, I get embarrassed for people really, really easily. I used to skip ahead if like a character died or if they like died, but I was pretty sure they hadn't actually died, and I wanted to kind of see if their name was like brought up or if there's any more dialogue with them in the rest of the book. I used to like skip ahead to see if I could see their name or something. That would happen. Sometimes I would like skip ahead if I wanted to see how long the description was, because sometimes I'll read a book and like the description is so long and I really don't have that much interest in reading description. So I will skip ahead a little bit and then see where the dialogue is, maybe read a little bit of it and then go. I will skip through a description if I'm not interested in it, or if it looks too long, I'll just kind of skim through it. It's gonna be really hard for me to edit this question because I rambled so much when answering it, but long story short, yes, I will skip ahead, but I will always go back and read the part. I won't just completely skip pages or chapters or things like that. Number 10, breaking the spine or keeping it like new. I don't actually care. When I'm reading a book, I don't really worry about cracking the spine. I don't try to crack it, but I also don't try not to crack it. It doesn't really bother me so much, or crease it or whatever. That doesn't really bother me so much, especially if like if it's a book that I really, really like and I know that I'm going to be lending it to people to read, and then I expect that one of them is going to somehow crease the spine. Unless it's like the last copy of a book and someone like mistreats it, that would just be wrong because that's like the last copy anyone's ever going to have. That's not cool. That was also a very long, rambling answer. Question number 11 is, do you write in your books? No, I don't write in my books. I've never had to write in my books, even when I was studying. I have a pretty good memory for things that I've read, and I used to, if I had to take notes, I would just take notes in a notebook. I always thought it would be cool to write in my books, though. As a kid, I was like, I'm going to take notes in the margins. I'd be, wow, they're making a lot of noise. I never had to take notes in the margins of a notebook, in a book or anything like that. So that's it. The 12th question is, who do you tag? And I'm not going to tag anyone, but if you watch this video and you'd like to do it, then I am tagging you. You can do it. I don't really know who to tag because I think most people have probably done this tag. That's also it. And I'm too lazy to check to see who hasn't done it. Thanks for watching, and I'm going to stop before I start to ramble. I'm looking at myself in my computer right now. I will see you guys later. I'm going to have a video up in a couple of days because, wow, this is a really long video. So I'm going to go and edit this, and I will see you guys later. Bye.